Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Art Whisperer 88. This is a continuation of my collab project with California artist Dale Voelker. And here's a collage which I had mistakenly thought for a submarine. It's actually a top view of a propeller-driven airplane. So that shows you what an expert I am on engineering drawings. Anyway, I'm going to treat it as a graphic element and not play up so much that it's an airplane, but just a textural element. So my plan is to apply some color, maybe some vertical and horizontal elements, and then apply some collage elements later. So here's the airplane, not a submarine. Here is another one with the spray paint and brushwork and a vintage newspaper. And the same here. Very similar elements, newspaper, some color fields. So I will see what kind of result I can get with a jelly plate and some additional collage elements. So first one I will tackle is the plane. So I'm going to do, since this is on the right side, I will apply the color on the left side. So it's a reverse. So I'm going to use a Lucas bright yellow. It's a cadmium yellow. And I'm using it straight out of the tube. This way it's nice and has a nice consistency. And let me see if I have a clean brayer here. I have to remember to keep my brayers clean. One like this. And try to get it somewhat even. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, and then one of my favorite devices is bubble wrap. So I'm gonna introduce some texture with the bubble wrap. Like that. Okay. Let's see what we come up with. Now, in a way, I like this format that the plate is actually larger than the paper, because I don't need to worry about straight edges and borders, or if I had smeared ink. This way, the image goes all the way to the edge. Okay, I'm going to switch to a close-up so you can see. go. You see the texturing on the right side. So I'm going to let this dry. Now I'm going to do this one. This time I will use a color called Caramel by Lucas. Then here's some cadmium red. We'll see. Adding my marks here. See what I got. I have to adjust the way I apply pressure because it's a much smaller piece of paper. I usually use the back of my hand here, this part, but since it's a smaller piece of paper, I'll just carefully use my fingertips instead. Okay. There we go. Most of the newspaper image got covered up, but like I said before, the results are purely by chance. I can't over plan this. Let me see if I can get a ghost print on this. And sometimes the second pass is more interesting than the first one. Yep, I like this. Here we go. I like the overlap of texture and the text and the colors. So you win some, you lose some. Okay, so I will set this aside. Let me see what I can do with this. Let me try. Try this turquoise. There we go. I'll wait for this to dry and see what happens. The underlayer isn't very obvious right now, but let me see what happens when I do this. I think that's very cool. Okay, let me set this aside, let it dry, and I'll just keep going. Now I have to be perfectly honest. I was not happy when the image here got covered by the turquoise paint. It was a little too opaque for my taste, and the same thing for this piece here. So what I had done is I took my wet rag and I cleaned up some of the paint, and I'm glad that I could still expose some of the detail of the print. So maybe there's still a way that I can salvage this. And like I said, you know, when you do this kind of work, you don't know what to expect. It's an element of surprise. And the same thing with this. I had to clean up some of the paint so I could expose the newsprint underneath. And in doing so, part of the newspaper came off. But I think it's pretty interesting. It's a contrast, exposing the white layer underneath. So I prepared some of my collage elements. So I'm going to work on this one first. And I have some paint markers here. So one in orange, one in red, and one in like a hot pink. And I've used these before, and they're very effective in creating these scribbles, which I like. That's a mannerism of my artwork. And I cut out some copy paper that has some paint on it. These are all remnants of some collage papers that I had done before. So I have that, and I have some of this, and possibly this. And that. So I'm going to use my trusty Mod Podge and try to do this as quickly as I can. Sometimes when I have an idea, I make sure that I move quickly, because sometimes I change my mind or I forget. That's one element. Then I have this. And that's the interesting thing about collage, is sometimes, well, not sometimes, oftentimes I try my best not to over plan anything, not to overthink anything. It just happens that I feel that something will work, or I don't think it will work. It's one or the other. Okay, so that's the collage element. Just make sure everything is mounted properly. And I'll see if I can add some hand-drawn elements later once this dries. So I'm going to put this aside. Now I have this piece, and I have this. This is all hand drawn with a brush on white paper, and I think it will work like so. Now it's slightly thicker than copy paper. I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, it's cardstock. So I'm just applying a little bit more glue, and I have to wait until the moisture of the glue penetrates the paper so it lays flat. There you go. And do that horizontal strip. It's a second element. And let's see, what else do I have? I got this. Okay. See if I can get this to fit. Okay, that's it for the collage part. I will let this dry, and then I will see if I can come in and maybe add some scribbles with my paint pens. So I will be back in a few minutes, and I will show you the final result. So don't go away. Okay, so here's the final leg of this project. And here is acrylic paint pen, and I find it's very effective to do my scribbles. Go like so. Just make my marks here. That's one. And here is the other piece, which I will use orange. Again, I like to do this type of marking. And the last piece of the three is the larger one. And let me see. I actually want to place another element here, just to give it some bite. Do that here, like so. Again, I'm going to use my trusty Mod Podge. Put this right here. There. Again, this is a slightly thicker paper, so I want to make sure that it mounts properly. And let's see what else. As I mentioned in another video, sometimes my problem is not knowing when to stop or leave well enough alone. Let me see, it just needs one more thing. I think it needs some scribbles. That's usually my last flourish. Better remount this because the newsprint is coming off. It's very fragile. Okay. So that's it for collage number 3. So I have so far this large piece. You can put some light here. And then this piece with the airplane. And and this piece. So here's piece number 1. Sorry for the glare. And this piece number 2. And here is piece number 3. And so this is part 2 of the Voelker collaboration. And thank you again for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And I hope to see you next time.